I'm Roger Ebbage. I'm here to see Rick Crawford.
Oh, let me see if he's available.
Thanks.
Rick, Roger's here to see you. I'll be right down.
Thank you.
Hi, Rick Crawford.
Roger Ebbage, nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Thanks for taking the time to see me.
Yeah.
So
Why don't we step in the
this-
boardroom here and we'll take a few minutes to chat.
Great, thank you. So thanks for taking the time to meet with me, Mr. Crawford.
Yeah, I'm happy to do so.
I would like to ask you some questions about your job, what you like about it, what you dislike about it. So if you don't mind, I'll just read from my list of questions to
Sure,
ask
go
you.
ahead.
So, how did you get into this line of work?
Well, I spent 18 years in the timber industry out here, and that's kind of a dying trade. And I ended up losing my job there and having to go back to school to be retrained to do a new job. So that's kind of how I ended up in this energy management world, I should
Great.
say.
And can you tell me exactly what it is that you do?
Well, my official title is an energy analyst, and I look at buildings and try to find ways to make them operate more efficiently. That's the big picture. And we also do new building consulting also, so we can help people build a new building that's super efficient, as well as go out into an existing building and find ways to maybe reduce their load and have it use less energy.
Do you do more one or the other, or about equal?
We probably do probably about 60% existing and about 40% new is what I do in that area somewhere.
So what do you like about your work?
Well, I like the people I work with, for one. Everybody here is very supportive of you. If you have a question, they don't say, hey, come back in 10 minutes. They say, hey, how can I help you? It's really awesome to have that kind of a support network. I like being able to get out in the field and go out into these buildings and play with all of our little gadgets and tools and stuff that we use to diagnose these things and figure out what's really going on in a building. Just the whole sense of kind of helping out the environment and reducing our carbon footprint here is a big reason for doing this as well.
Great. And so on the other side, what is it that you don't like about what you do?
Like I said, I spent 18 years in a physical job making plywood in a plywood mill. And now I spend probably 90 to 95% of my time at a computer writing reports and doing analysis work and things like that. So that sedentary environment is probably my biggest struggle here.
Okay. Are there any special skills that you needed to have to do this?
Special skills. I really think that the schooling that I received from the energy management program out there prepared me very well to do this job. But just like any schooling, that gets your feet wet and it gives you a basic idea of where you're going. And then when you get out and start doing it in the real world, that's where the real learning starts. So I think you're prepared to come into this and do this kind of work, but know what you're doing. I think that's going to take several years.
Did you have any personal skills that you kind of brought into this before you got into your educational program?
Yeah, I think that for sure. I spent 20 years out in the real world working before I came here, so you definitely acquire skills, whether that's being flexible and rolling with the flow, or actual computer working skills that I actually brought with me because I did do some management positions in my previous job. So I was able to manage projects and things like that. I already had those types of skills, which is a lot similar to what I'm doing here, is managing some projects. And, I have a few people that, I need to get to do work for me and stuff like that. So a lot of those things are transferable, and, you wouldn't quite think that, I spent 18 years working in a plywood mill, and now I'm working in an architecture engineering firm doing analysis work. Where's the connection? But there are quite a few things.
As I came in, and you mentioned some computer skills. As I came in, I saw just banks of computers, not banks, but enough computers to make me wonder how much computer work is there in the work that you do.
You are going to spend, like I say, probably 95% of your time on a computer doing either Excel spreadsheet calculations. We have some tools that were used for modeling buildings. So you'll learn some new softwares and things like that to do analysis work with. You will be doing report writing to convey the messages that you want to your client. There are a multitude of things you'll do at a desk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so you mentioned Excel. Is there any other software that is, pretty universal that you need to have?
Yeah, I would. The big three working in my job here are Word, Excel, and AutoCAD.
Oh, okay.
And as well as specialties, softwares like the building simulation software we use, and there's a few other little things like that that you pretty much will find little training for on the outside world. You pretty much learn those on the job.
Okay. Is there any software that's really unique to the work that you do? You mentioned building modeling. What is that? And is there software out there for that?
Yeah, I mean, anyone can go out online and get one of those that's called eQuest or DOE 2.2. You can actually go out online and Google that and pick up a free copy of that, download it, and you can start modeling buildings. But it's not a straightforward, easy tool. It's an easy tool to use with a little bit of experience and knowledge. And then there's also lighting modeling softwares. We do some lighting design here as well. And so there are lighting software out there like Lumen Micro or AGI 32 and Visual and some of these other ones out there. And Visual is actually typically a free download. You can try it for 90 days or something and get your feel for that as well.
So eQuest, the DOE 2.2 is a free download. Everything else is proprietary, where after a period of time you have to buy it?
Yeah, to some degree, but I mean, the visual lighting software is like $50 or something,
Yeah.
so it's not a big expense. I mean, some of the AGI 32 is $850, so I mean, you can do the gamut, but visual will do fine for what most people do.
Is this something that I would, as a new employee or somebody looking for work, is this something that I would have to have, or do typically the firms that employ people coming out of this program have that in-house?
Well, when I went through an engineering management program, I was exposed to DOE 2.2 or eQuest, as well as Visual, which is lighting modeling software. So I had some exposure to both of those, and I tinker with them a little bit at home and kind of played with them a little bit and learned a little bit more of the stuff like that. And like I say, I knew how to use them when I came in here, which was very helpful, but I really understood how to use them after using them and doing some experience and doing lighting design and going down in the real building and seeing that lighting design work for the first time.
Okay, great. Would it be, you mentioned the DOE 2.2 is something, DOE 2.2 is something that I could download. The Visual, it sounds like there's a 90-day or a certain period of time where I could get it for free as a trial, but then it would need to be purchased. Would it be good for me to purchase these when I'm out looking for work and then bring them in with me, or do firms usually have them?
Firms will usually have
I
those
see.
things. They will provide that.
Great,
for sure.
Okay. Any equipment that I would need to own as an analyst?
I have my own personal tool bag that I take out in the field. You've got your flashlight, tape measure, amp clamp, which you can take amp readings on electrical current, motor, lighting circuits.
You
things
have one
like
of
that.
those yourself?
I have my own personal one, as well as a ton of other things, masking tape and you name it's in there.
Okay.
10-in-1 screwdrivers is the most useful tool I have in my bag, because all of these air handlers, when you're up on top of a roof, you need to open them up and see what the condition is, and get in and see what size the air filters and all those kinds of things are, and it's very helpful.
So in my initial phone call to you, I said I just would really like 20 minutes of your time, and I see we're getting pretty close to that time, so I appreciate that. And I have one last question, and that is there someone that you know who works in the industry where it would be a benefit for me to speak with them?
There are a multitude of different places out there. Like we work in an architecture engineering firm, so we're a consultant for private businesses. Typically, we do government and public as well. But it depends. There's the utility. Any of your electric utilities around? If you were looking to go over there, I could give you a name for somebody at eWeb,
Okay.
which would be like Joe Backer or someone like
Oh.
that over there. He works in the energy department, and he actually focuses on lighting.
Great.
That would be one person if you were looking at utility. But
Okay.
there's other things too, that you should remember too. I mean, it's because you can be a building operator. So you may want to get a hold of somebody like one of the neighboring hospitals or a large facility like that has somebody on staff, maybe the U of O, University of Oregon, and contact them and ask for their maintenance department or if they have an energy conservation department or somebody there that you could talk with. Would be another
Great.
avenue that I might point you towards.
And then one last thing. Is it possible to get a business card, please?
Definitely.
Great.
We'll get you
All
one
right.
on the way out.
Perfect. Thank you very much for your time. I
Yeah.
really appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's been very valuable.
Yeah, nice talking with you, Roger.
Yeah, thank you.